All right. To be determined. Week one officially. I'm going to have Kaylee kind of jump into what we're going to talk about and kind of roll, and then I might chime in here and there too.
Yeah, good. So today during our group call, we wanted to focus on dinner and done. We hope by now everybody's been watching the videos and they've been familiar with the plate it method. I've been talking to one of my friends, Elise, who is also doing the 2B mindset, and we were both talking about how one of our biggest struggles right now is dinner and done, find other fun. For so long, I'm like, just throughout my life, I've always like had dessert after dinner. It's just what I've always done. And now it's kind of hard to like change your mindset. I feel like it's more of like a mental struggle for me. Like I'm not actually hungry. I just feel like I need to have something after dinner to be satisfied. So we are going to talk about some tips that I have found that works well to be dinner and done. Just to hop into those. One I know Alana talks a lot about is like drinking tea after dinner. There's so many different types of like non-caffeinated teas that are like flavored, and they're also sweet too. So if you have that sweet tooth, they're helpful. And then another tip, so tea is number one. Another one is increasing your protein intake at dinner. And this kind of varies for me. Like some nights I can eat like one chicken thigh or one chicken breast and like feel full. But like the other night I was like still hungry. So I had two chicken thighs and a whole plate of veggies. And that like helped me stay full and satisfied so much longer. Like I was almost so full, I didn't even feel like I didn't want to eat dessert. So that's another one, to eat more protein. And then also drinking. So Alana says drink 16 ounces of water before dinner. But I've also found like drinking quite a bit of water after dinner will also kind of give you that full and satisfied feeling that makes you not even want to eat anymore. So that works for me too. And then obviously the dinner and done, find other fun for distractions. So I love to crochet. I crochet blankets. And kind of just like using my hands, they're occupied so I can't be eating. It seems silly, but that really does help take my mind off of eating. And then I also like if I have a book that I'm reading, or sometimes I'll like try to like do my meal prepping or grocery list during that time just to like distract myself. And then another one is eating dinner a little later. Usually I've like tried to eat dinner around like 5:30, but now I usually eat around 6:30 or 7. If I eat later, I feel like I have less time to like be hungry. So then I can just go into my nighttime routine, like take a shower, get ready for bed. But yeah, those are some things that I have found that works well for me to be dinner and done. Oh, hi, Alyssa.
And so a couple things, I'm going to just chime in, like having kiddos, trying to be dinner and done, find other fun. And, sometimes we shift like where our hangout is. So a lot of times hanging out in like the kitchen or the living room or just like watching TV or just like 2B allows us to be so much more intentional or mindful. And so it's like, oh my gosh, this is when they're wanting popcorn or treats and things like that. And so because if we're watching a movie, like that makes it fun or something. And so it's like really working on kind of countering out those that are already in place. Like my kids, I still feel are very young at 7 and 8, but those are some things to be thinking about. Like I know some of us have littles or not kids at all. So being mindful or aware of it now, then you can kind of see like what are some of the habits that we currently have that we focus around our food that we can maybe shift. And so we do board games or puzzles, and again, that gets our hands going. Having water or having, and I do want to note this for your tracking purposes as well, because if you drink carbonated water, like a LaCroix or something, or it might bloat you, like I'm not, I mean, people say TMI and this is TMI for some people, but it's like you want to be aware of kind of how your body's reacting to things too. So, kind of seeing how you feel the next day or even later in the evening. Some people are not affected by the carbonation or that. And so that's like a really quote unquote sweet tooth. My kids are always like, why do you do these things, mom? Um, but just kind of finding, and Alana talks about two hands on the wheel, you know. So just being like mindful, and I love her sayings and things like that. But yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say is just like puzzles or doing stuff, and especially during coronavirus times, like doing stuff like that, or even like the movies, but just not like I've told them like the treat is that we're getting to watch a movie. The treat is that we're getting to, you know, and I grew up like I got to go to the movies with my family. That was the treat. We were never buying the popcorn and stuff. But then you have like my husband who never went to the movies. So he's like, if we go to the movies, we do the movies. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's like, you know, you're always kind of figuring things out. But and that's like part of what we want this group to be is when we get on these calls, we want to bring a couple of the tips, whether Ilana or just things that we have found. And then we also want to hear from you, maybe something that's working, maybe somewhere you're having trouble. So those are kind of the things that we want you to be mindful of from week to week, what you can maybe, you know, let us know. So then we kind of know, or we can make sure that we're addressing and just different things, because that's the point of this group is to help each other in this, and knowing that nutrition, we all got to eat.
Yeah.
We all got to fuel our bodies. We all got to and the more mindful we are about that for ourselves, then we can make it for our environment. And I was telling Kaylee earlier today, because I just made a veggie platter, like, and my son got the veggie platter dish, like the fiesta dish, you know, like where you have like a dip, and it was all, and I'm like, why not? Like, why do we wait for occasions? Like, I'll make a veggie dip every day. And that's what I told them. I mean, a veggie platter every day, because they like their bell peppers and their tomatoes and cucumbers. Like, so sometimes it's not in carrots. So those are like, those are those are the things. And just I get so excited that when they start to see the like the fun, and what's fun about fruits and vegetables is that they're colorful, you know, so it's fun to eat the colors. And that's what you could do as just like eating the rainbow, and just kind of, that's kind of what I talk about with my kids too. And I just break it down like the apple comes from the tree. You know, there's nothing to be made in this apple. So you hear a lot of times, and this is kind of a tangent, so that's why we do this as a tag team. Kaylee can bring me back in, but we hear to go at the grocery store to go around on the edges, because you're hitting the produce, the meats, the dairy. I don't even know what else is. But for the most part, because everything in between is, you know, things that are in boxes. And so I always just say, like, the ingredients of an apple is an apple. The more things, you know, other stuff has other ingredients. And so we try to be, you know, aware of that. My kids still eat goldfish. Like it's like I'm a real mom, you know, so it's, but it's just like kind of bringing things into life and letting them know, like, sure, goldfish are orange, but so are carrots, you know, like, and so they don't need to be that every time. Or like when they get something out of the pantry, like that's their snack, then like they don't get a lot out of the pantry, you know. So I'm just like, if that's what you're going to choose for your day. But dinner and done, fun. So just kind of I think brushing your teeth too. Like I do the brushing the teeth, or if we like shift gears and we go upstairs, or we start cleaning, or, you know, get our rooms ready for bed, or read a book, or like you already mentioned. So
And one thing I have a hard time with, like, my boyfriend Austin, he always eats ice cream after dinner. He loves it. And sometimes I just feel like I like have to have something too. So one of my go-tos is like a yogurt, and I try to do a small bowl and like fill it all the way up so I feel like I'm eating more. And I do like yogurt and a couple of drops of stevia and cinnamon, and it like totally satisfies me. And just like the little bit of sweetness, and yogurt's protein, so it'll help keep me full and satisfied. But that's if I really need something, that's like one of my go-tos. Sometimes I melt peanut butter and drizzle it over the top, but it's still like, it's better than eating the ice cream. So at the end of the day, it's a more mindful choice for me to make. I feel like it's a small victory.
Yes.
And it's like, it's better than choosing the ice cream. So I feel like that's good.
Yes, two things with that. One, like apple nachos, I think is a great, like if you're looking for a crunch and still sweet, and drizzling a nut butter, um, coconut, I don't know, do them up, however. And again, we're trying to get in a like shifting a habit. So if we're used to having something, then we just want to substitute. And then if we can break it down to not doing it every night, and then if we can, like, so we start to scale back as opposed to going cold turkey. The other thing, because we call my husband Triple C, the cheesecake connoisseur, because he loves all things cheesecake, and he loves having cereal or ice cream or whatever at night. And so, um, I realize sometimes I have my Shakeology later in the afternoon. I mean, sometimes I'll still have it earlier in the day, but also as like more of a treat. And so if I have it before dinner, then I'm just not like so ravenous when it comes to it. So I can be lighter when it comes to my meal, and then my veggie, everything is fine. Or even having like my shake with my dinner, like as my protein with like a nice salad, or like sauteed veggies or something like that. Um, or this. So Sierra asked, what if you have a sweet tooth for chocolate? So, and two things with that, I have start making these Shakeology balls. We call them chocolate balls. um, Yeah, and there's so many different recipes, and you just kind of tweak it. And I'm like a chocolate peanut butter person, so I put that and the oats, and the peanut butter. I can share it with you, but then there's other recipes too. Then there's like the cocoa whip that Alana has, which that was really fun, and putting like fresh raspberries in. I enjoyed that. I made that for my kids in the day too. And so then that was kind of fun because they felt like they were having like pudding, like they were like, what, we can eat this, mom, So, really checking out some of those, but we'll make sure to throw those in our group too, because I want to make sure that we are addressing that. And then, is a beach bar okay? I was gonna say sometimes through the day too, to hit my chocolate. I'm gonna let Kaylee jump in this, but I just for you to know, like I with the beach bar, I even have zapped it in the microwave a little bit, and like put peanut butter on top, and just like make it a nice decadent like snack. And then that's a good time. But Kaylee, go ahead with your
I was gonna piggyback on having like Shakeology around like 3-4 o'clock. I just finished mine. It really does help also with like my sweet tooth cravings. I have the biggest sweet tooth all day long. I love breakfast brownies for breakfast. I'm just always like, I have a huge sweet tooth. I have my entire life. But that definitely helps. Having Shakeology like before dinner time, after that, like in the afternoon cravings, perfect time to have it. And then I feel like I am not like starving when it comes to dinner. So I think that really helps me. And then I do feel like on nights that I am dinner and done, I like always have a weight loss day the next morning. I feel like that is like with my body, that is like really how I know I'm going to stay on track. So I do try to be good about that. But you just kind of have to track it and see what works for you. dinner and done, that's not a requirement to be like following 2B. It's just recommended. So you might find that you can still eat something after dinner and still have a weight loss day the next morning. Just track it and see what happens. You might be surprised what you can eat and still have a weight loss day.
Yeah, and really quick, just to piggyback on piggybacking. So shifting from like, we're so programmed dessert for evening, but I'm like, I love to be mindset because we can shift it where we can have breakfast brownies, where we can have these treat sweets things earlier in our day. And that's how I want to say win your day. Like get your treat, just get it earlier. And like we're working on shifting from, you know, a brownie from a box to like morphing it into more of a newer brownie and like getting our body the more we start giving it the nutrients. That's part of what Shakeology does, right? Like the more you start fueling your body the way it's desired, you almost crave those things, you know, you enjoy those things. You're like, frick, this is such a good bell pepper. Today that happened. It was like, oh my gosh, I just want all these, you know? So it's just like, it starts to have an effect, and also with your mind. And for so long, like, and I say that, but then at the same time, I'm also like, in the same breath, I'm like, and having vegetables. My kids, I had asparagus on my plate this morning with my eggs and avocado toast, and they were like, "Are you eating asparagus?" And I'm like, "Yes." Extra credit. I don't know, you know. And so, but it's like when we have been programmed, like pancakes are breakfast food and cereal, and we really need to get away from that because those are just the carbohydrates of emptiness, you know, and you really see that with your kiddos or, you know, things like that. But I don't need to jump into that. But she mentioned dinner and done. I want you to go over these because Alyssa's on the phone too, or like chimed in. Just go over what you said. But I did want to mention bevies because I know that drinking tea was one of the things that you mentioned. And the bevies use decaffeinated tea, green tea, and have 3 grams of fiber. And so those have helped like for I would say like the pomegranate berry is more like sweetie to me, you know? But those are just like a thought when it comes to like having something later.
And then Alyssa, a couple other tips that I found for myself that worked to be dinner and done, eating more protein at dinner, drinking more water after dinner, and eating dinner at a later time. Those are just some things that I found that helps me be dinner and done. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions or just about all of 2B? Anything regarding it?
And you guys can be thinking of questions because this is the time to let us know. We had a topic come up in our early morning group. And Britt had shared about she has lost her 17 pounds. And then, you know, she's got that goal again, but to get past her 17 pounds. And we talked about it and we were just like, I said, because I'm a big person on how you feel. But at the same time, like if you keep stagnating, if you keep stopping at the 17 pound, like have your goal of what you want to lose. And I think she said 30. So putting that into a picture form, and then Jess chimed in with pictures are a way to communicate. When you go to another country, if you don't speak their language, you can show them a picture. They will help you find the bathroom if you show them a picture of a toilet, right? So same thing for our brain and our bodies and our minds all working together. The more that we have everything in the same direction pointed to the goal, the more likely you are to have success. Okay. So this happens with athletes. This happens with jobs. You know, you want to advance, you put where are you going next? In school, what are you doing next? You know, we always have like we're always pointed to the next thing. So if you put out your goal weight and then maybe break it down in chunks, like on post-it notes, 1 to 30 if you're trying to lose that, 1 to 20, 1 to 10, or count by 2, 4, 6, 8, thinking of 2B mindset, 2 pounds a week, like getting in those mental states of like where your goals are at, and then that reward of getting to cross that off. But also, like, you got to stay on your P's and Q's or you'll be like adding that number back on, right? Like, and so, and I wouldn't necessarily do, like, I would probably have like a check-in by the end of the week, like what have you maintained off, and kind of having, and she made like a thermometer. So whatever mentally helps you, then, having visuals is definitely going to help our brain. You can chime in on that too. And then we did get the question, should I eat my carbs for breakfast or in the afternoon? And you can talk about plate it here if you want to.
Yeah. So with plate it, Alana recommends that for breakfast, our plate is 50% protein and 50% fiber-filled carbohydrates. So for fiber-filled carbohydrates, that would be like whole grain bread or oatmeal. Because like having that extra fiber with the whole grain, that's going to keep you fuller for longer. And then with lunch, it's 25% protein, 25% carbs, and then 50% veggies. And then at night, so the purpose of carbs is to give us sustained energy. So at night, Alana recommends just doing 50% protein, 50% veggies, because we're kind of winding down for the night. We don't need that sustained energy to go to bed. So she does recommend eating the carbs for breakfast and then at lunch, and then the night not having them. But it makes sense if you think about it, because like we don't need sustained energy. We're winding down for the night. We're getting ready to go to bed. But it is a hard like switch to make. Like that was probably one of the hardest things for me going into 2B, just because my entire life, I've always had a carb with dinner. But one way I have found to make it easier is I try to have my protein and then like 2 different types of veggies at dinner. So like cauliflower rice and roasted carrots, just to like give more variety. And then I don't feel like I'm missing out on the carb. So that's one trick that I've found that makes it easier for me to not eat carbs at night. And I really do see a difference, like eating like the fiber-filled carbohydrates compared to like white rice or other stuff. I feel so much more satisfied when I'm having that like whole grain, like brown rice. And it makes a difference for my body.
Yeah. And I know I've noticed having more energy in the day by having my carb early. So Sierra, I think you could definitely benefit from that too. Shifting it. And then it's like, oh, that's what they are, literally. Energy is what our carbs are for our bodies. So, but definitely like the nutrient density, I think that's a huge thing too. I'm working on getting that. Like, I love my avocado toast. So I had my sourdough, that's better on my tummy. But yeah, sweet potatoes. And then I was gonna say, like, because I'm still like, Alana speaks to my heart when she likes to eat a lot. So I'm like, yes. And I think you've maybe made it, Alyssa, and your husband liked it when you did the cauliflower rice, but I do that with chicken apple sausage. And then I just throw bell peppers, all the veggie, like if I have asparagus, if I have onions, all the things. And then you can put that and mix it with cauliflower. And so like, then it's a bulkier thing, or like the same concept with stir fry, but having like bigger veggies and chicken, and then over cauliflower rice or something like that, or even just like over romaine lettuce. It's like, sometimes it's like more simplistic. And then sometimes, like, if you like to cook, I mean, there's recipes all over in our mindset menu and all the places. So if you like to cook, like, let us know, because we can shift you in those directions too. If you want simplicity, we can shift you there too. And then I kind of share, I think I shared it last time, so I didn't know if I should even share it this time, but like, I am making my family, I still make the scallop potatoes, but sometimes I'll have it like with my eggs in the morning tomorrow. I'm not going to eat it tonight. Or, like, cause my husband, especially, like, he needs all the carbs. And so making, like, we still do have carbs with our meals at night. It's just when you're in a shifted mindset, like, you're not desiring it as much either. And like Kaylee said, like, having multiple options, then it's just like, I have a spinach salad that I love to make that has like strawberries and everything. And so it like just makes it fun to eat with a little bit of chicken. So, we get to eat more food. Like, that's what I like about it. I get to eat. I don't have to, we get to get away from the guilt aspect of eating a lot, you know? So that's what I really like about the 2B mindset.
Oh, and one last thing I want to add. One thing that I've like just noticed, my like go-to breakfast I have is overnight oats. Recently, like I've been noticing, I've been eating it for like months, overnight oats every day. Like yogurt, berries. I've been realizing that I've been getting more hungry around like 10 o'clock when I'm at work. So I started to eat overnight oats and also a hard-boiled egg just to like add in a little more protein. And that's been a total game changer. I'm like totally satisfied until lunch now. So it's kind of like I've had to make that adjustment. Before I was totally fine just having my oats, but like as our bodies are changing, sometimes we need more protein in the morning. So just by adding that like little bit more of protein, I'm now full until lunch. So just something to think about. If you are like hungry in between breakfast and lunch, you might just need to be eating a little more fiber-filled carbs or protein to keep you satisfied until lunch.
Yeah. Sierra also said this morning she had Shakeology, a piece of whole grain toast with a scrambled egg. Was that too much protein for breakfast? And kind of going off of what you said, I was kind of bringing it up.
Yeah,
piggybacking kind of like how you feel, how your sustained energy feels. Knowing that you're working out in the morning too, like your Shakeology is kind of, I don't know, I don't know if you're doing recover as well. So that would be one of my questions. But I think if you have, you know, if that fills you, then that sounds like a pretty solid breakfast to go into your day with. Alyssa, any questions? And then if you guys do have more questions, you can always let us know. You can always throw it in our to be determined group. Again, this group is created for the people, by the people, you know, for us to try to make more mindful choices together.
Sorry.
Alyssa, are you unmuted? So are you going to chime in? What?
I don't even really, so I'm only halfway paying attention. I'm sorry. My daughter is doing gymnastics on Zoom. They just ended, but
okay.
So that's why I've been kind of crazy. But what was the question? I heard my name and I'm like, oh crap.
It just went where we could hear you. So I thought you unmuted yourself to speak.
I did because I heard my name. Just to let you know, I didn't hear what you said, what you wanted from me.
We were just making sure you didn't have any questions.
Oh, okay. I don't think so. I probably do, honestly, but at this point,
well,
I don't
feel free to post
my video. See, I'm just all over.
Yeah, no,
that's okay.
Just post in the to be determined group. Like, let us know, because again, if one or if anybody's having a question, someone else is probably having it. And so it's always nice to throw it out there, and like we're in a to be determined group. And so it's like that safe space to kind of understand it more. And then also someone might chime in, or we'll use it like for a theme, because we definitely will be addressing things throughout each week.
I missed what you said about the beach bar. Are those okay options? I guess I did get some, and I have occasionally used them as a quick snack, or even when I had a sweet treat craving. But I didn't hear the answer on that, if there was one.
I know,
do you want to talk?
I personally, I haven't tried the beach bars yet, but I know Nikki, you were saying that it's super good to put them in the microwave for a couple seconds. And it's like a fiber filled carbohydrate, correct?
Yeah. So I look at beach bars as definitely not, I don't want them to be like an everyday thing. And depending on where you're at in your journey. So if you're swapping beach bar for like a scone from Starbucks, yes, get the beach bar every freaking day. So I guess I need to rewind. So it just depends where you're at. And then eventually shifting it out and having like veggies and yogurt for a snack, and then every once in a while. So like hormones were high as I was on my period, and so like chocolate is like all the things I naturally. So I was making the chocolate balls, and then my kid liked them, and so we made more of them. And so it's just kind of having things in your life and your lifestyle that you realize you don't just go off track, you don't just go off the deep end, you don't just end up eating all the Oreos, you don't just like it just doesn't make you go off the deep end. And so having those snacks and things like that, I think are great to have. And that's why I love having them on like in my house, because I also know when I let my kid have that, I know they're going to get a solid amount of protein that they wouldn't get in a different bar that is empty. And so they're just nice to have around. And yeah. So again, depending on where you're at, ideally not an everyday thing, but just and tracking, like Kaylee's saying, like tracking, seeing what works for you, seeing if you have a weight loss day, seeing if it's affecting it. And then we're constantly learning from our body and how the food is affecting us, and also checking out your energy throughout the day, like all the different things that are going on. You can wrap us up.
Yeah, if nobody has any more questions, in our group every night we're going to be posting a dinner and done. Feel free to post your trackers there. I think it's fun to kind of see what everybody else is eating throughout the day. It also gives us ideas. And then also on our morning post, we're going to be doing small victories. And even if that victory is having yogurt instead of ice cream, that is still a small victory. Celebrate it. We're focusing on making more mindful choices, healthier choices, where y'all just want to support each other, where we can do this together.
Speaking of that, do we have any to be victories this week? I know you have an announcement for Elise, so maybe start with that one.
My friend Elise, she just started to be, and she's already down 3 pounds. Congratulations.
Awesome. Awesome.
So exciting, just being week 1. I'm so thrilled for her. So yes.
Yes. And Sierra, do you want to share? Or I know Brittany shared in our bigger group just like that she's almost down 6 pounds, or she was down 6 pounds. And she was saying she feels her abs getting stronger, her back hurts less, and that she's been staying on track with eating and feeling great. And what was the other thing? And she really attributes it to nutrition, because she said like 8 days of following her 2B has been able to like really like bring on this weight loss. So that was something that she mentioned. Oh shoot, Sierra, can you still talk? Oh, she's got to go. Any other things? I know we want to start getting our mindset, even if we're just swapping out, not going for the extra chips and dip, and Brittany shared that too, like she passed on that at dinner. And so it's just really these what we might call baby steps, but like they are so huge, and they're so huge for lifestyle, and it's not that you can't have those things, but it's just like we realize how often we do it out of tradition, or out of just like because they gave us a thing of bread in front of us. I I came here for your pasta, you know, like, or whatever, like, but then I'll eat your bread too. And then shame myself and guilt myself. Like, we're just trying to get out of that. So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys for joining. We look
Yes.
forward to talking next week on Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Perfect. We'll be here.